Yo, yo, yo. Okay, so President John Calvin Coolidge through to, from Euborones Ambery, Oroe, governor of the Gaul, and then Galatia or Galati, Ante, in 200, 170, so AD, I believe. Through to Calvin Coolidge, through to 1498 England to today, Sarkovir de Galati, Solinius de Galati, Frava, Flavius de Galati, Siagra de Gigati, Flavia Claudia Demetria, Gaius Calpurnius, Piso Aurelia, Fadilla Aurelier, Salopius de Galatiae, Flavia de Rome, Hunius Licinius, Balbus, Maesa, Faustina Antonia. I'm not going to try to pronounce these Roman names. Consul Hilarius, Eotrepia, Antonius, Afranius, Marcellus, Antonius, Quintus, Flavius. You can pause, fast forward, rewind, speed up, slow down. Emperor Anicia, Synesius II, Synesia Genadia, Acilius Glabrio, Flavia Paducia, Flavius Felix, Constantius, Consul de Rome Flavius in 405, Rufia Probanus, Acilius Glabrio, Sabedius Spedius, did I do this already? Prefet de Pretuor, Flavius Probus de Narbonne, Euelia Magnus, Badarek von Thuringen, Magnus Clarissimus, Molion de Angoulême, Botesigal de Metz, second Duke, Palatia de Magnus, Botesquial de Aquitaine, Oda de Suevian, Saint Arnulf, Bischof von Metz, Saint Doda, Pippin the First, Alter, Hausmeyer, Indoberga von Nevelis, Ansigal von Metz, Hausmeyer, Saint Bega, Pippin II, Chalpeda, Karl Martel, Chartrude, Cherrybart, Graf, Gerald I, Pippin III, Betrata, Ima von Alemannian, Karl von, this is Charlemagne, Hildegard, Guelph, because we must have gone to Ludwig before. Oh, we didn't go down to Calvin Coolidge, obviously. Lunarook II, Eberhard von Frial, Judith Ardolf, Ludfried de Rennes III, Ava Comtesse de Tours, Hugh de Tours, Hochbald von Ostevant, Hedwig von Friel, Charles III Le Simple, Frenduruna von Regelheim, Raoul van Vexen Comte, Adelaide de France, Gauthier de Vexen, Adèle d'Anjou, Gontier, Hughes de Molen, Senfria, Gon II, Ranulph Gabarion. We could get the computer glasses. Thorold, Hanfroy, Albreda, Galerin. We're in 1010. Roger de Beaumont, Sire, William de Beaumont, Nesta Virch, Osborne Fitzrichard, Simon Lescrope, Imgoline, First Agnes Fitzgilbert, Isabella of Hereford, Walter Scrope, Hugh the First Scrope. I didn't change any lines here, and it went from Scrope to Coolidge. Robert Scrope, William Choworth, Alice Alfreton, Simon Ingolian, Roger Brune, Isabel Brune, Gilles de Newsom. Oh, Piers de Brecknock, Thomas de Newsom, Lucy Fitzpiers Brecknock, Henry Lescrope, Julian Brune, William de Rose, Sir William de la Pole, William Lescrope, Constance Newsom, Walter de Norwich, Sir William Lepole II, Catherine Norwich, Margaret Rowe, Henry Lescrope, Richard Lescrope, First Baron, Blanche de la Pole, Robert Tiptoft, Margaret Danecourt, Sir Roger Scrope, Margaret Tiptoft, Roger Neville, Third Baron, Maud de Percy, Hugh Stafford, Second Earl of Stafford, Ralph Neville, First Earl, Westmore, Margaret Stafford, Roger Scrope, Sir Margaret, they tipped off with the Sir Richard Scrope, Margaret Neville, Sir John Scrope, Elizabeth Chaworth, John Washburn, Henry Scrope, Elizabeth Scrope, Margaret Power, Henry and Elizabeth Baga, Norman Washburn, Elizabeth Knight, Svin, Sir Richard Fediplace, Elizabeth Bessilis, Mary Scrope, William Kingston, Eleanor Washburn, Richard Scrope, Sir William Kingston, Lady Cecily, Elizabeth Cheyenne, Henry Scrope, Elizabeth Scrope, William Kingston, Anthony Kingston, Lady Susan Fetty Place, John Mace Woodburn, Margaret Camp, Sir Thomas Kingston, Eleanor Kingston, John Coolidge, Alice White, Simeon Coolidge, Agnes Kingston, Henry Mace, Margaret Woodburn, William Coolidge, Richard Ravens. So where did it go? Oh, I see. In Kingston. Okay. Yeah. So forget that. There's maybe another generation of Coolidge, Calvin Coolidge. Coolidge. Richard Ravens, Elizabeth Hedge, Mary Ravens, Ellis Barron, Grace, Daniel Rose, Elizabeth Goodrich, Simon Coolidge, Hannah Barron, William Goddard, Elizabeth Miles, William Davis, Jane, Josiah Goddard, Rachel Davis, Obadiah Coolidge, the first, Elizabeth Rose, the second, Rachel Goddard, Joseph Priest, Margaret Child, Lawrence, Jonathan, Joanna Phillips, Hannah Lawrence, James Priest, Colonel Josiah Coolidge, Mary Jones, Captain John Coolidge, Hannah Priest, William C. Thompson, Dorcas Eaton, Ahab Brewer, Israel Putnam Brown, Sally C. Briggs, Sally Briggs Brown, Israel Chase Brewer, Calvin Coolidge Sr., Sarah Thompson, Calvin Galusha Coolidge, Sarah Almeida Brewer, Hiram Dunlap Moore, Abigail Penny Franklin, Benjamin Goodhue, Caroline Andrew, John Calvin Coolidge, Victoria Josephine Moore, Benjamin Goodhue, Caroline Andrews, Towns Barrett, Lorena Fretz, Lamira Barrett, Mira A, Captain Andrew Ishachar, Grace Anna Goodhue, President John Calvin Coolidge from Elizabeth Scrope, which is 18th great, John Bernard, Margaret Scrope, Bernard, Jane Smith, John, Mary D. Willis, Nathaniel Hayward, Mary Packard, Benjamin, and then we'll go to President, 1872 to 1933. And Massachusetts. Richard Byfield, John Martin, Rebecca Byfield, John Wright, Dorcas Byfield, Samuel Warner, Mary Martin, Joseph Wright. Hello.
Hi, we're on our way home. Can you start dinner?
Yep.
Okay, is spaghetti and meatballs okay?
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll be home actually in a couple of minutes. We're close.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Okay.